Okay, Warcry Red Harvest. This is the box I've been looking forward to most this year, except for possibly Curse City. Curse City turned out to be a major disappointment, obviously unsupported and that kind of thing. And I'm wondering what happens next for Warcry. So there's lots of talk about a new edition probably being around the corner at some point next year. Will we get much longevity out of this box and out of Warcry in general going forward? Or is this going to be the kind of Kill Team Pariah Nexus version of Warcry? So is this going to come out unsupported and then in a few months' time we're going to get a brand new edition of Warcry? I hope not. So let's get into this box. It almost feels a little bit redundant doing unboxings of these types of products now. Lots and lots of plastic, obviously, and then we'll get to what this game really means. Now, I have done plenty of homework on this release, and I think that Red Harvest is exactly what Warcry needs right now. We've already got a kind of a great formula for a game anyway. Warcry is easily my favourite Warhammer product, and it feels like this just enhances that. So let's have a brief look at the sprues before we get into the book and that kind of thing. There'll be a full review on this in the coming days as well, once I've had a real chance to get to grips with it. Okay, so this is one sprue. This is the Tarantulas Sprue. Looks like we're going to have lots of different options. Looks like we might have more options than what we would normally get out of a Warcry release. I'll get to that. What I'll be doing is I'll be reviewing the warbands separately and then doing a full review of the box. But yeah, I mean, from what I can see here, it looks like we might have more options than we normally get. Terrain, I'm not sure if we've had this sprue before. I think we might have done. We've got walkways, we've got barriers, these spiked barriers. Okay, so we get one of those. Right. Some cool looking stuff here. Let's see if we get one of these sprues, it looks like. Okay, same again. Sorry, not the same, different sprue, but more beautiful terrain. There's a lot of stuff here, to be fair. Okay, we've got a duplicate sprue. It's quite a big platform now. I'm wondering when we get into it, I might record building the terrain actually, because I'm wondering if we get the same situation as we did with the original core box for Warcry, in that if you put it together wrong, you kind of isolate yourself for certain terrain builds in the game. Okay, we've got another duplicate sprue here, and these are our kind of smaller terrain elements. Very cool. And here's our other warband. I don't know why these sprues look like there's a lot more on them in terms of options, weapon options and that kind of thing, than what we had with previous warbands. I might be way wrong. Okay, right. Awesomeness, hero quest. Very cool stuff there. Right, let's get in. Let's get the rest of the stuff out of here. Let's have a good look at it. Wow, there's a lot. There's a lot here. Right, tons of baggies. Warcry dice. These are new dice. I wasn't expecting new dice, to be fair. So So they are the same colours, but the cut of the dice is different. So to compare, here's a standard Warcry dice. And here's the new one. So it's a more square cut on there. They haven't got the rounded edges the other one's got. And that's something I like. I really like a kind of more square dice. I don't know why. They just feel more premium. Yeah, that really sounds bizarre, but I definitely prefer these to the standard Warcry dice. But yeah, we get 6 of each colour. The standard Warcry fare. We've got our cards and that kind of thing. Right, okay, let's get into it. Obviously got our bases, 332mm and the rest are 25. This doesn't seem like a lot of bases, to be honest. Oh, right, so we've got 4 32mm. Fourteen bases in total. I thought that we would have more than that. I thought we'd have more models in the box. Includes 23 Citadel miniatures, but we've got we've only got 15 bases. So yeah, I've obviously got some missing. I'll get in touch with Element Games about that, get them to fix that problem. By the way, guys, if you check the description, if you do any orders via Element Games using the link in the description, you will help my channel. I'll get a little kickback. It won't cost you a penny more. Right. Okay, so we've got... I love a good quality baggie, to be fair. Okay, right, we'll check out all the cards in a minute. Now, what I can tell you is that we've got the twist, deployment and victory cards here. There are, I believe, 12 of each. So in standard Warcry, if you buy the battle plan cards, or if you were to buy the original core set, you would have got some battle plan cards. There was 24 of each type in that deck, but we've only got 12 here. This is for the Red Harvest setting. Right, okay, so, oh look, there you go. There's the rest of my dice. What a plum. Brilliant. Okay, so assembly guides, blah, 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 that's great. Have we got our... There's no war scrolls, it appears, for Age of Sigmar. Take a look at the book in a second. Right, we've got the board here. Clearly we've got a range ruler and we've got our set of tokens. Now when the game was announced, it said that there would be brand new tokens. There isn't. This is the standard token set that is for Warcry. Nothing is different here whatsoever. So whatever they said there, it's just false. But yeah, double-sided board. So it's not Warcry centric in terms of Warcry Catacombs had a double-sided board, but it wasn't. One side of the board was basically from the original Warcry set. This isn't the case. These are both, the double sides on this board are both in the same setting. Right, book or cards? Book. Actually, let's have a quick look at the... So as you can see from these abilities cards, for the Dark Oath Savages, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 different build options for your models. Obviously, they're not all represented in the box, so you can make up to 10 of these. The Slaughterborn, the main models, you can have them with a Great Blade or Great Axe. And there's different ones. So this Proven, you can have it with a Great Blade or the Great Flail. I think that those are going to be your option. So there's 10 models. There's 10 models in the box for this warband. So I think you're going to have to choose between the Great Blade and Great Flail for the Proven, and then for the Slaughterborn, choose between the Great Axe and the Great Blade. Now I've got a lot of Slaves to Darkness stuff, so I'll probably proxy something for the alternative model in these. I'll review these completely separately. The Brood, Spider Swarm, we know we get 3 of those. The rest of them look like they're going to be separate models. Potentially the Broodkin with Sai and the Broodkin with Scythe and Spider Claw. They might be the same model. I don't think they are. If they are the same model, you'll get your different build options in there as well. Right, okay. Book, Red Harvest. So I know that in this book we've got we've got the core rules that are in this book. So if you want to buy this box and no other Warcry products, you can at least get cracking with the core rules. What it doesn't have is the match play rules. So if you're looking to get competitive with Warcry, you will need the core book as well. So what have we got? It's telling us to buy more books, different faction books that are available. Now, contents. There is a, you know, the hype is real in terms of terrain for this box. There is a hell of a lot with it. I'd say there's probably even more terrain than there was in the original Warcry box. Okay, so lots of lore and that kind of thing. Updates with our new warbands. Seekers of Varanites. So that is our setting, the Varanite Mines. Right, okay, so let's get through all of this stuff. Very nice. I mean, these books are great. I mean, just if you're looking for alternate ways to build your models and that kind of stuff, this book is great. There's some excellent, even for the main kind of standard Warcry stuff. Okay, how to use this book. A new war is raging across the Bloodwind Spoil, a vicious struggle to claim the infernal Varanite Delves. Those warriors who conquer these linchpins with industry can earn great glory, but the perils are great, and only the strongest have any hope of success. So we've got the Varanite Delve special rules, Varanite Delve terrain rules, and then it's got campaign quests and branching quests. Now, branching quests are different from standard campaigns in that there's a bit of a kind of pick your own adventure style on it. You can choose where you go and what you do after your original quests. Background tables, core rules, and warband roster. Varanite Delve special rules. So this gives us information, particularly on the board. So things like the molten pits. It will tell us what we've got to do on those. I love this terrain, it's wicked. And then it's got the individual rules for the terrain itself. So some of these larger pieces have got their own, there's ways to play the game. So for example, if you are within half an inch and you're attacked sorry, if you're within half an inch of a operating piece of machinery and you get attacked, you have to roll at the end of that action to see if you face a further penalty and that kind of thing. So the terrain is very involved. Okay. Here's our campaigns. We've got a couple of campaigns for each warband. Branching quests, so we've got different convergences. When you get to a convergence, I think if you win, you can then choose which one comes next. It's not a linear path, so kind of choose your own adventure style thing there. So obviously you've got convergences. It's 1, 2A, 3A, 3B, 2B. So yeah, there's a way to play through it so it's different every time. It gives you a bit more variety. Yeah, so I like it. There's a hell of a lot of this stuff actually. Wow, loads. All of our tables for naming and doing backgrounds and all that kind of thing for our Tarantulas Sprue and Dark Oath Savages. And then we get into our core rules, our standard core rules. Okay, so yeah, I am a fan. So if you are new to Warcry, this is a great box to get you cracking with it. If you've got a choice between buying this and, for example, Catacombs, for me, there's no point in looking at Catacombs. If it's your first outing, go straight for this. Having said that, this is an expensive box. 30 quid. Sorry, 130 quid for this box is yeah, that's quite a high price to pay. But I think that if we are going to continue with this hobby, and I know that some people are being frozen out of it because the price of things are going up and what have you, and we all know the reasons for a lot of why prices are increasing. We've got global shortages of various materials, we've got shipping issues, we've got all these different things, and unfortunately for people who are potentially leaving the hobby as a result, it's one thing to say Games Workshop and everyone else, they've got to make money, and that's absolutely fine, but despite the reasons for it, people are just dropping out of the hobby, I believe. I was at Salute 2021 yesterday, and yeah, it wasn't practically empty, but all of the traders that were there were saying that, you know, that the hobby is not dying, but it is on the decline. And I know that's kind of not Warhammer centric at all, but it was quite interesting what a lot of these guys were saying. I'll be doing a roundup of Salute in another video in the next couple of days, and I'll be going into that further. Right, okay, so let's separate out these cards. Okay, so we've got our standard cards for kind of backup players, so we can track them. I'll put that straight in the box. Let's start with the warbands. So brief introduction to these guys. Movement of 4, that's our leader. So we've got 2 options for the leader. They're both 20 wounds. What is the difference between these guys? They both cost the same. 20 wounds, 4 movement, 4 toughness, both 1-inch range. On one there's 5 attacks on a strength of 4. On the other one there's 4 attacks on a strength of 6. To be fair, strength 6, you got to go for the great axe every time. Doing 2 and 5 damage, so decent for a kind of Warcry warband. Right, here's our Sorceress. Just 12 wounds, movement of 3 and a toughness of just 3. Strength is just 3 as well, but on the 3 to 7 range. There's only 2 attacks, but there's 3 and 6 damage, so that's cool. Up close and personal, I wouldn't bother trying it with 12 wounds. The rest of the warband, they're all for movement, they're all for toughness, they are broadly for strength, and they in general deal out different damages. So that, I mean, this guy, blimey, he does 1 damage standard, 5 on a crit for 120 points. And then by balance, this female warrior here, all the normal stats are the same, but does 3 damage as a standard and 5, so slightly cheaper but no abilities. Loving this guy. 2 and 4 damage, strength 4. Yeah, broadly looks like an okay warband. Okay, the Tarantulas Brood. Movements of 5 and 6, which is good. Quite low points on these. The tarantulas themselves, just 35. So here's our leader. 18 wounds, toughness 4, movement of 6, 6 attacks on a strength 4, doing 2 and 4 damage. The tarantulas themselves, or the spiders themselves, 6 movement, just 8 wounds, toughness of just 1, 8 attacks. Oh, bloody hell. 8 attacks on a strength of 1, doing 1 and 2 damage. So these are more to just hold up other players, I'm assuming. Rest of the warband, they're all movement 5. Between 8 and 12 wounds. They're all toughness 3. They are for the most part all strength 3s and 4s. Okay, so that's that. And then finally, we've got all of our battle plan cards. So all of our terrain setup. Very cool. I'll say again, there's a lot of terrain in this box. Okay. What we got here at deployment cards, I'm not expecting anything majorly different out of these. And that is quite interesting though. Okay, right. Let's look at some victory cards and then we'll look at the twists. The Reaper. Enemies are close by, make them pay a heavy price in blood this day. At the end of each battle round, each player totals the wounds characteristic of enemy fighters taken down in that battle round. If one player has a higher total, that player scores 1 victory point. The battle ends after 4 battle rounds. When the battle ends, the player with most victory points wins. This is a standard attacker and defender. A search for Varanite. This is about being on platforms. That's another attacker and defender one. This is collecting objectives. So yeah, nothing majorly different here, but it's definitely nice to get more victory cards. Now, in any game of Warcry, this is what I look forward to the most: the twist cards. It changes everything. Demonic presence. In each hero phase, when it's your turn to use a wild dice, you can choose to draw upon the demonic power if your leader is on the battlefield. So you roll 2 dice. If the score is less than 7, you gain 1 additional wild dice. If it's 7 up, allocate, 2d6 damage to your leader. And for the rest of the battlefield, players can no longer draw upon demonic power. So yeah, that's harsh. That's quite a harsh twist card. Mutative Aura. If the victory card in play does not use objective markers or treasure tokens, draw another twist card. At the end of a fighter's activation, if they are within 3 inches of an objective or carrying treasure, roll a dice. On a 1, allocate d6 damage. On a 2 to 5, allocate d3 damage. On a 6, remove up to d6 damage points from that fighter. That's brilliant. Really cool. We'll go through. We'll do one more. The Winds of Excess. Each time a player uses an ability, they must roll a dice. If the score is equal to or greater than the value of that ability, no ability dice are spent, but the ability is still carried out. Wow. So that is letting you keep your dice for later in the game. Okay, so that is Warcry Red Harvest. I have to say, I'm so excited for this game. It is exactly what I needed out of Warcry right now. I was very, very hopeful that we wouldn't have a new edition just yet. And I'm glad that that's not what's happened. Having said that, I'm sure that a new one is probably around the corner at some point next year. But I'm really happy with this. The reason I don't want a new edition just now is I'm so invested in the game. I've got all of the books, I've got all of the card packs. I feel like I've invested so much time and money into this game that I don't want it to change just yet. I want them to give us at least another year of this product so as we can keep playing it. But having said that, you know, I love Warcry. When it does change eventually, and it will because I think it's a popular product, when it does change eventually, I will still embrace it. But that, at least for Red Harvest, is it for today. So I'll be back with reviews for the warbands and for indeed the box itself once I've had a good chance to get everything assembled, have a real good look at the rules, and get a few games in. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Much appreciated. Have a great day, and I'll see you very soon.